The Cleveland Browns took home 3 of the 7 coveted awards at the NFL honors in Las Vegas yesterday, and I wanted to take a second to really give, a testament to some of these players and some of the, obviously, people in the organization that took home these great awards. And I really think it was a remarkable season for them. Obviously, there were so many injuries that really kind of derailed them, but their defense had a great turnaround. And pretty sure they started like 5 different quarterbacks on the year, which is just unbelievable. Obviously, it didn't end up well with that game in Houston where they just couldn't get it done. Game got away from them. But they really had a remarkable year, and I want to start with Stefanski, who won Head Coach of the Year, which, I think a lot of people thought this award should have went to D'Amico Ryan or Dan Campbell, but if you really look at what Stefanski had on his plate this year, going into this year, it was really, I think that if they didn't make the playoffs, he was probably out. He was debatably on the hot seat, in my opinion, and he came out and they got off to kind of, a rocky start a little bit. I mean, I think they were 2-2 at one point. Then they just really put on the gas, turned it around. Obviously, he had to deal with Deshaun Watson going down, but he got wins against Baltimore, got a win against San Francisco when they were undefeated, won games with DTR, PJ Walker, Joe Flacco, and Deshaun Watson, which is just a ridiculous feat. And it was a really good how he was just able to put together schemes with Joe Flacco and make that all work. That was really incredible. That's why I think, although the season didn't end great, he really had a remarkable year. And then we go to the Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett, and wow. The thing with him is, he did have 5 games where, he didn't get a sack, but at the same time, beginning of the year, he was an absolute havoc. And if you look at the moments, the things that people remember, like the eye test wise, he had that huge game against the Colts, which they wouldn't have even been in the game, and they ended up winning. They wouldn't have won if he didn't block the kick, force fumbles and stuff. He had the between the legs play against, but I think between the legs sack against the Bengals, which was crazy clip. And he just had a remarkable year. Really turned it around. I think he was dealing with an injury towards the end of the year, so he wasn't 100%, but he just had a really remarkable year, and that's just a guy in Cleveland that has continuously been great for them. And then to talk a little bit about Joe Flacco, to come in off your couch and perform at the way they did, that's probably the most exciting stretch of Cleveland Browns football since they've come back, since 1999. That's probably the most, it was so short. That was probably the best, most exciting stretch of football to watch, was just Joe Flacco and them going on this unbelievable run. And I think it's warranted. I think it's warranted of Comeback Player of the Year. I think Baker, in Tampa, had a really resurgence, but I think it should have went to Joe Flacco just because of the circumstances. Obviously they didn't get in the postseason, but I think that, it's great that they were able to get these awards, and, hopefully it can lead to something better in the future.